Hi, the Torah portion this week is taken from Numbers 22, verse 2 to Numbers 25, verse 9, and it is entitled Balak. Yes. Balak, the devastator, the king of Moab, and the people saw Israel and were afraid. He sent Balaam to speak curses against Israel by witchcraft. God warned Balaam not to curse Israel because they are a blessed people. Balak and his Balak and his people tried to convince Balaam otherwise. Balaam had a strange encounter with a donkey which saw an angel of divine judgment. God warned Balaam again to speak only his word. Balak pulled out all the stops to convince Balaam otherwise. These men made sacrifices together. The Lord met Balaam and told him what to speak. Balaam blessed Israel to Balak's dismay. Balak still tried to change Balaam's speech. The Lord met Balaam and told him what to say. This man blessed Israel and declared the ineptitude of witchcraft against Israel. Balak was still being persuasive to change Balaam's speech. Balaam was utterly convinced of God's position toward Israel and spoke accordingly, even pointing to that people's great deliverer, kindling Balak's anger. After Balaam's declarations to Balak, the men separated. Thereafter, they devised a plan to trick Israel to walk into idolatry, kindling God's wrath. However, the Lord made a way of escape for his people from divine judgment. Now, if you look at the Haftorah, it is taken from Micah 5, verse 6 to Micah 6, verse 8. And this is the summary. Great deliverance shall come to Israel from their enemies. Israel shall prosper and be very strong. The Lord promised Israel victory and deliverance. The Lord pleaded with his people. He reminds his people of their encounter with Balak and Balaam. His people need to know the Lord, the Lord, and worship him. Now, what's a life lesson that can be derived from all of this? All rebellion against the Lord will be punished eventually. Pray, fast, seek the Lord, and confess to Him to avert judgment. So, rebellion leads you to disdain God, His word, and His worship. In the midst of rebellion against God, what should you do? And Daniel 9, verses 3 to 6 gives us some clue, and I'll read it for you. And I set my face unto the Lord to seek by prayer and supplication, with fasting and sackcloth and ashes. Daniel 9, verse 4. And I prayed unto the Lord my God, and made my confession, and said, O Lord, the great and dreadful God, keeping the covenant and mercy to them that love him, and to them that keep his commandments. Verse 5. We have sinned and have committed iniquity, and have done wickedly, and have rebelled, even by departing from thy precepts and from thy judgments. Verse 6, Daniel 9. Neither have we hearkened unto thy servants the prophets, which spake in thy name to our kings, our princes, and our fathers, and to all the people of the land. So, coming out of this, in the midst of rebellion against God, what should we do? Change our posture to one of seeking God. Seek the Lord through prayer. Seek the Lord through supplication, imploring Him to stoop in kindness, showing favor and grace. Seek the Lord through fasting, humbling ourselves before Him. Focus on God. Worship the Lord earnestly with outstretched hands. Agree with the Lord that we have sinned against Him in open rebellion. And this is according to James 5, verse 16, which says, Confess your faults one to another and pray one for another that you may be healed. And it says, The effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. So allow the Lord Himself to bring healing and forgiveness. I hope this Haftarah portion and this Torah portion has been a blessing to you. God bless you today. Amen.